Imagine what would have happened if Obama had been assassinated. Joe Biden shocks New Hampshire crowd with bizarre hypothetical question just days after wrongly claiming that MLK and RFK were killed in the late 70s. Joe Biden posed a shocking hypothetical question to voters at a New Hampshire rally Friday, asking the crowd to imagine Obama's assassination. The stark declaration came as part of a meandering discussion at the closing of a town hall meeting on the campus of Dartmouth College. A Democrat made reference to the 1968 assassinations of Robert Kennedy and Martin Luther King, which days ago he recalled to have happened in the late 70s. The timing of the question seemed bizarre, as it came hours after the Biden campaign celebrated the 11th anniversary of his selection as Obama's VP. It also came amid mounting scrutiny regarding the presidential hopeful's numerous blunders and slip-ups during televised interviews and speeches. His campaign staff are said to be considering limiting his public appearances in the future to preserve his place atop the polls. By Luke Kenton for DailyMail.com, published 3:56 British Summertime, the 24th of August 2019, updated 4:07 British Summertime, the 24th of August 2019. Former Vice President Joe Biden posed a shocking hypothetical question to voters at a New Hampshire rally Friday, asking the crowd to imagine what America would be like if Barack Obama had been assassinated. The stark declaration came as part of a meandering soliloquy at the closing of a town hall meeting on the campus of Dartmouth College. The Democratic frontrunner made reference to the formative moments of his college years, most namely the 1968 assassinations of Robert F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King Jr., which just 2 days ago the self-proclaimed gaffe machine recalled to have happened in the late 70s. My senior semester, they were both shot and killed, Biden recalled Friday. Imagine what would have happened if, God forbid, if Barack Obama had been assassinated after becoming the de facto nominee. What would have happened in America? Scroll down for video. Former Vice President Joe Biden posed a shocking hypothetical question to voters at a New Hampshire rally Friday when he asked the crowd to imagine, what if Barack Obama had been assassinated? The stark comment came as part of a meandering discussion at the closing of a town hall meeting on the campus of Dartmouth College, which also featured mentions of school shootings. The timing of the rhetorical question seemed all the more bizarre, considering it came just hours after the Biden campaign sought to exploit the 76-year-old's links to Obama, commemorating the 11th anniversary of him being selected as his vice president on Twitter. It also came amid mounting scrutiny regarding the presidential hopeful's numerous blunders and slip-ups during televised interviews and campaign speeches, which have been frequent since he launched his White House bid in April. The point Biden seemed to be attempting to make was that the tumultuous events of the late 1960s and early 70s had heightened his political consciousness and kick-started his political career, though the message seemed somewhat lost on the crowd. A campaign spokesperson told the New York Times that Biden has previously attempted to draw an analogy between an Obama assassination and the political killings of 1968 when addressing audiences who weren't alive at the time. The timing of the rhetorical question seemed all the more bizarre, considering it came just hours after the Biden campaign sought to exploit the 76-year-old's links to Obama, commemorating the 11th anniversary of him being selected as vice president on Twitter. The Democratic frontrunner also made mention of formative moments during his college years, most namely the 1968 assassinations of Robert F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King Jr., which just 2 days ago the self-proclaimed gaffe machine recalled to have happened in the late 70s. Biden's recent gaffes have brought into question his mental acuity, with questions persisting in abundance as to whether he's fit enough to serve as the commander-in-chief. In his appearance at Dartmouth, and during another speech later the same night, Biden made several slip-ups and problematic comments as he attempted to rile the crowd. During a sermon about teachers, Biden made reference to his educator wife, Jill, in which he said if he didn't support teacher, I would be sleeping alone. In his final event of the day, Biden spoke about taking away tax breaks for America's most wealthy. He said, I find most rich people are as patriotic as poor people. The bizarre outburst come as one of many in recent weeks, raising concern among members of his campaign staff who are said to be considering limiting his public appearances in the future to preserve his place atop the polls. Such misstatements have included declaring that poor children are just as bright as white children, and he even claimed to be vice president during the Parkland school shootings in 2018, despite having left office more than a year earlier. Biden's recent gaffes have brought into question his mental acuity, with questions persisting in abundance as to whether he's fit enough to serve as the commander-in-chief. The 2020 favorite has even said he supports truth over facts and incorrectly stated that 2 mass shootings in El Paso and Dayton earlier this month occurred in Michigan and Houston. But in closing his Dartmouth speech Friday, Biden finished strongly. In a comparison between his own political awakening and the present day, Biden asked how many members of the audience were in high school or college. In response to the 40 or so raised palms scattered across the hall, Biden said, "Unless I'm mistaken, Donald Trump did for your generation what the loss of 2 of my heroes did for mine," he told the students. "What they did was make you realize, my God, we're in trouble." Biden issued the parting shot and promptly left the stage to a thunderous roar. At the later event, he resurrected his assault of the 45th U.S. president, accusing Trump of becoming more and more unhinged. As his weeks in the Oval Office pass, he's now feeling the pressure of an economy teetering on a recession and he's not handling it very well, Biden said. His trade war with China is blowing up in his face. "I think it's only going to make him more erratic," he said. Read more. Let's block ads.